Good morning, comrade. You are listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. This is your, I think we might have missed it. Oh, hold on 1 second. I'm going to try it again. Good morning, comrades. You are listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. This is your daily Good Morning, Comrade. Today on the show, we have Jeff and Robert holding it down. What is going on, Robert?
Not much. Just working, playing the darn video games.
Yeah, what game you on lately?
I'm still playing Elite Dangerous. So I'll be playing that till I die.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna start a. I've had Metal Gear, Revengeance, Rising, whatever, the platinum game with Raiden on my mind. So I think we're gonna do a stream of that pretty soon. See, I went and saw my mom in Cincinnati. I went to the Slavery Museum, which rocks.
Slavery Museum.
Yeah, it's called the National Underground Railroad Museum because it's very it's significant where it's at. It's on the banks of the Ohio River. Because the idea was if you were a runaway slave and you could make it across the river to Cincinnati, you were free.
Cincinnati was the line.
Yeah, the Ohio River was the line, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was until the Slave Act, and then which allowed Fugitive Slave Act, which allowed slave catchers to go up north. Mm-hmm. Aaron and I went in there. She was she was kind of torn on the museum because she thought she expected to be challenged a lot more than she was, and she's like, I didn't really feel. She says that, I'm trying to paraphrase what she said, but she's like, I feel like this doesn't push people enough to be like, hey, white supremacy is really bad, and here's why. And they do. Go ahead.
They didn't teach enough critical race theory at the museum.
Honestly, yeah. And I kind of had to let her remind her that I understand exactly what she's saying, and she's right. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, it's a museum in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is kind of the Constantinople of the United States. It's a place where like liberals and leftists and conservatives and neo-Confederates like actively clash. Sometimes ideologically, most of the time, and then sometimes violently. Like the city's had multiple race riots. The police are kind of a gold standard of policing now, of community policing, when they used to be just savage animals before, because of the riots. That's usually how it works. When people say, you know how we feel about a Good Morning Comrade, people say, why do they burn down their own neighborhoods? Well, one, do you want them to come burn down your neighborhood? Like, are you trying to make a suggestion? Two, it gets results. Burning stuff gets the goods. I wish it didn't. It'd be great if it didn't, but it does. So it made, Cincinnati police change the way they police. They're kind of a model for the United States now. I'm sure there's still a ton of bad ones, but it wasn't as bad as before. But people in Cincinnati, like I said, a lot of people, not everyone, but they cried and they moaned about, why are they putting this museum on the riverfront? I remember I lived there when it was going in, and they're just like, oh, it shouldn't be here. Like, shut up. So the museum itself has to kind of, I don't want to say downplay, but they've kind of got to make it so it doesn't beat people up when they go in there. But
right. Otherwise they won't go in there.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing why Aaron is right. This is why I said Aaron is right. Average Andy, who's going to the Bengals/Reds game, they're not stopping by the Underground Railroad Museum, Freedom Center anyway. So this is one of those liberal things. This is a bigger thing of why liberals like get everything wrong, because instead of just saying this is, like, we're leftists, slavery's bad, this is how it is, they try to appease too many people who are never going to go along with their worldview anyway, and it ends up watering down society. And it ends up like making a situation that nobody's happy with. A great example of that. Go ahead. You probably get something.
You mean by using like appeasing your greatest enemy as your starting point is a effective strategy?
It's the worst. It's absolutely. It sucks. A great example of this is so by the Red Stadium now, like the block where Great American Ballpark is, where the Reds play, because you want people to be outside, you want businesses, because of COVID, you want businesses to flourish. You want to be a world-class city, but you're in Midwestern Ohio, so you're stuck with these like puritanical, weird open container laws, which are straight up weird. Mm-hmm. We live in New Orleans where it's just like, get a drink. Like, you want a drink, go get one. There's multiple bars here that open 24 hours.
If you like your drink, you can keep it.
Yeah, if you like your drink, you can keep it. You didn't make that drink. Bartender made that drink. So what they've done is they have the Dora, which is the designated outdoor refreshment area. And it literally says this on the cup. It's the most nanny state, like 1984 nonsense. You may only drink your drink within, it literally says it on the cup. You have to have it in a approved Dora cup. And you can only take it in the designated Dora area, which it literally has a map on the cup and has the rules of drinking this Bud Light on you. Like, you have to look through, you have to like read a manifesto. You have to read, all this red tape to allow you to drink your Budweiser on the street. It's like, what is this? This is dumb. So just let
authoritarianism right there. That's
exactly like I posted people on my personal Facebook. Maybe I'll put it on Twitter too. But I was like, good people of Cincinnati. I was like, you sit here worrying about socialism taking over, but you let this go on. You let this nanny statism, like, no. This is absurd, but it's one of those things where you try to make everybody happy, and it ends up making nobody happy, and it's just a big stupid mess.
Yeah. Miserable.
My thing is, if I was emperor,
the future that liberals want,
absolutely. If I was Emperor Cincinnatus, I would say, well, here's the deal: everybody can drink on the street, just like in New Orleans. No bottles, cans and cups. Here's the deal. And there's no open container laws anymore. But here's the deal. We catch you littering, it's $300 fine off the top.
Cool.
That's what we're doing.
I'm here for it.
Don't play with me. Yeah. You're not gonna treat this city like an armpit. Don't play with me. Yeah, don't play with me. But now that I've bitched about Cincinnati enough, I have to say that the things that the Slavery Museum did right, the National Underground Railroad Museum, is that one, it really gives you a good sense of not just how bad slavery was, like how bad the Middle Passage is. Mm-hmm. They have artifacts from, those times, which are like some of the stuff you can touch, and it's disgusting to touch. In the one of the videos, which is like, hey, slavery's over, but things are still really bad, y'all. Like, people still have to struggle. They talked about like organized labor. They talked about like the Irish, which was pretty cool. And they also have, they do that. Like, they have a whole room where you can take that implicit bias test, which is neat. Oof. I have a moderate, no, it was slight. It was slight implicit bias towards people of color. And then so did my wife, who's blonde and white, a slight bias towards people of color.
She's one of the good ones.
Yeah. There was some guy, the guy who's like in there who like curates it or whatever. He was a weirdo. He was like a weird liberal. He was fine. I talked to him for a while, but he had to like talk these one ladies down because they were just like, the test was just like, oh, you're in the Klan. It's like, oh, obviously you're in the Klan. He had to like talk them down because they were kind of hot. But the best part of it, they have a corner for because I would love to talk to the people who curate this thing, because you could tell, like, as milk toast, it's not milk toast, but you could tell there's parts that are toned down. Mm-hmm. But you could tell the parts that like people, they like fought for. Be like, no, this is the hill I'm going to die on. And one of the hills like where some people died on, there's like a John Brown corner where it's like, it's just like a couple of his pictures that like a placard about him. And it said stuff like, Harriet Tubman gave him money, which I didn't know. She funded him. And then he also said Frederick Douglass thought his plan was interesting, but also insane.
What, John Brown's plan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. He had. I mean, there's no win. There's no way to get a dub out of that.
But here's the deal. So they've got his corner where it's like the a couple pictures and stuff around him, stuff about him, and in the audio, like when you step in that little corner, the audio just plays John Brown's body is molding in the grave over and over again. And I was like, somebody fought for that.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was like, no, this is the hill we die on. Like, this will be here. And
what's really interesting about John Brown, and this is something that, because I know that we had Matt Christman on the show a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
We should try and get him to come back and talk a little bit about Reconstruction, because he went and he read a lot of stuff on that. But he specifically focused in on John Brown himself. Sort of had a fascination with him. And like one of the things that he brought up that I think I agree with, but it sounds a little bit backwards for now, is that one of the reasons that John Brown did what he did and essentially attempted to take over Harper's Ferry was partially because he was a religious fanatic, and there was this level of fanaticism amongst that religion sort of brings that does not exist right now. Definitely not on the left. Like if it exists anywhere, it's with QAnon, essentially. Those are the radicals. Those are the religious radicals that they have right now, right?
That's a great point, because a guy to do what he did had to believe that there was something in the by and by. Mm-hmm. Like his physical body was just a vessel.
You're not gonna get a dub on Earth. The only possible way you can get a dub is in the afterlife.
Right. But I mean, I think of, another person who was pulling off stuff like that was Harriet Tubman. The whole thing with Harriet Tubman being a spy and burning down plantations and stuff. If you ever didn't know anything about that, Chriselle from she does a podcast and I can't think of what it's called, but it's great. But anyway, just search Drunk History, Harriet Tubman. And when Drunk History was going, Chriselle does a great Drunk History with the woman. I'm so bad with names. The woman who won Best Actress for The Help, and she's in Hidden Figures. She was in that. She's Harriet Tubman. And it's so good. It's so we should just take the YouTube strike one day and just watch it. But it's so good, dude. What's that?
Viola Davis. Yeah.
It's so good because it felt real, because Chriselle is telling it. She's like, look, she's like, I'm Harriet Tubman. She's like, y'all, I just need y'all to just do what I say. We're going to burn these people's stuff down. They can't catch us. And I can think about being a runaway slave and just being like, even if you didn't believe in the by and by and all that, just having so much, I would hope just having so much anger in your heart, just be like, Robert, you get a chance. I know you ran all the way to Philadelphia. You made it. Mm-hmm. We're offering you a chance to burn down plantations. I'm like, yes. Yes, I'm ready to do this and I'm prepared to die. Mm-hmm. We get killed, I don't even care. This is great.
So that's a little bit different from the perspective of it's not necessarily a victory or a dub in the next life, but it's an opportunity to be epic, right?
Yeah, it's an opportunity to be epic and just to take out pain, I think what that Drunk History does more than anything, where people talk about Harriet Tubman and they look at her as this, she was called Moses, but they, her writings and the stuff she said, well, she couldn't write, but the stuff that was taken down that she said, we look at her as some kind of, almost the way that Martin Luther King gets whitewashed, that she was just this this little
kindly old lady.
This kindly old lady. She kept that thing on her.
Yeah.
At all times. She had that thing, that revolver, and she knew how to use it. She was, because the reason why she had it was it wasn't necessary to kill white people or kill slavers or kill slave catchers. It was, if she was trying to take slaves down the Underground Railroad and they lost their nerve, she was like, you can't go back.
Right.
She's like, they'll beat it out of you. like I'll kill you right here. Like she wasn't playing. Like she said she never had to shoot, but she had that thing. She was ready to go. So she wasn't like Harriet Tubman was violent. That's what I'm trying to say.
She was a badass.
Again, burning down stuff gets the goods. Sorry to say, folks, it does. But
especially in a video game.
Especially in a video game or in the 1800s.
Right.
Like it definitely does.
That was you're listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. This is Good Morning Comrade, Jeff and Robert. We're talking about I guess we're talking about the history of slavery and Harriet Tubman in the museum and in Cincinnati.
I recommend anybody to go though. Like you should definitely go if you're making a highlight. Because one, it's one of those things that like most people are only going to see once, you know, and a place like that is special. They have it's a slave pen where it's an actual real. It's not a recreation. They put this thing back together they dug it up in Kentucky and they put it back together, and it's like a pen where they held slaves waiting to be sold off. And also, if you're really froggy, you can like do the Underground Railroad tour from the banks of the Ohio. Like you can start in Kentucky and then go to the bank of the Ohio River.
Is it like there's like stops on the way? Like you would like
because the Quakers, they took like really good, right? Like we know what houses were hiding slaves because the Quakers took really good notes.
Yeah, they were writers.
But yeah, Harriet Tubman, John Brown. It's really good stuff. But if you do go in there, like the stuff that like leftists got in there and said, you know, we're keeping this. Labor has to be talked about. Labor unions. We're going to talk about like how, Latin migrant workers are in, near slavery conditions. We're going to talk about this kind of stuff, and we're going to talk about, sex trafficking, all that. The stuff that people fought to have put in there needs to be applauded, because you're going to need that when you see like, oh, this is the wall of freedom conductors, and it's Rosa Parks and people who've gotten like an award or whatever from them, and it's like Rosa Parks and Nelson Mandela, and then it's the Dalai Lama and Bill Clinton and George H.W. You're just like, this liberal garbage here, but you just have to let it go. You have to like let it go and just be like, well, we got a underground railroad museum. We don't stop fighting. We fail. We get up. We fail better. So take what you can out of that and run with it. Speaking of that, so my mom has been doing a lot of ancestry, like .com stuff, and I never wanted to do it. My mom's white, my dad's black, and I never wanted to do it, but she finally she's like, oh, just do it. So I did the DNA thing, and I'm actually pretty impressed. Like I know ancestry.com is like Mormons now have my DNA and all that, but I'm really impressed.
With database now.
I know it's awful, but I am really impressed at how they handled the Middle Passage. And it's also freaky, like seeing so many people that look like me and like look like my dad, like who've done the test also, and they just run right up. There's like a guy in Africa, and there's a guy like a lady in Jamaica, and another person in the Dominican Republic, and you could just see the Middle Passage, like just run right up to like South Carolina. So I was impressed by it. I thought it was pretty cool. And my mom and I had we had some good conversations, and she actually kind of floored me with the things she had to add. She said, just in brief, she said, the way people look at me with all this, she goes, with all this in hand quotes going on nowadays, like it hasn't always been going on. But she goes, I go out and, I stand in line and people look at me like I'm one of these crazy white ladies that's just gonna, go fly off the handle because they don't get the right Starbucks order. And they look at me and then they see my big diamond ring and I can see the way they look at me. She goes, I can understand now the way people look at you and they might think some things. And I said, you got it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I also told her, I said, Mom, when we sit here and we do this, we're looking at this, ancestry stuff. And I say, my people, and I'm talking about Black people, like it's not disrespect to you. It's really more of how white supremacy hurts everybody. So because we have white supremacy, it actually drives a wedge between us because I'm forced with the way I look, I'm forced to, I have to say my people. I have to absorb an identity that I'm proud to have as a Black man. I'm very proud of my identity, but it's not an identity that I chose. It's just an identity that people tried to spit on and tell me was bad, but I choose to wear it like armor.
Right, reclaiming it.
Yeah. So it's like that's why, it's the whole thing is like, if you had a time machine, where would you go? And my first question is, do I get to be white? If I don't, then I'm not getting on time machine with you.
Okay, not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm staying right here. This is the best it's ever been, and it still sucks. Mm-hmm. But honestly, we just need to give. I feel like this is a recurring theme. Like, I'm so full of vitriol, but we also need to take a breath and put, what do the kids say? Put feet under grass, our feet on top of grass, grass under feet. And we need to give boomers a break sometimes when they're just doing their best. I'm not saying if they're cutting up and you've corrected them, you've called them in on their cutting up, and they still don't want to. They don't want to address you. They don't want to address their they're wrong. They might have misgendered somebody. They might have had implicit bias. Towards a certain race or something. If they don't want to correct that after you've shown them, then go off on them, like blow them up on social media, get them fired, whatever. But if people are just trying their best and for instance, they misgender somebody and you correct them and they go, oh, I'm sorry, or, so if people are just trying their best, like cut them a break. That's
put an effort to try and do better as opposed to just like instantly writing people off.
Absolutely. Because there's just no reason to do that. One, you'll be fighting all your life. You'll be fighting every 10 seconds, and that's not good for anybody's mental health. And then two, you just come off as a butthole, man. You just come off as a butthole, and you're gonna end up on one of those crazy like, oh, this is the woke compilation. This is on a Steven Crowder video or something. Not that you should care about that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just take a breath, see where people are coming from. If they're being aggressive and dumb, call them in. And then they don't want to change, call them out. That's all. It's easy, but nuance is so hard in this society. Nuances, nobody has it. Like, I have conversations with my wife all the time. Like, Aaron and I have conversations about stuff I would never even share on this podcast because we talk. Huh?
Want to share it?
No, I can tell you what it's about. It's issues to do with race. It's issues to do with men and women. It's issues to do with stuff like domestic violence. And we have conversations, and I'm throwing ideas at her, and we throw ideas at each other. And it's okay to be wrong. She'll correct me, or I'll correct her. It's just like the conversation I had with my mom. Like, going back to my mom, she totally forgot about it, but this is one of the things that's like ingrained in me. I can remember I brought it up to her and she totally forgot about it. But we were in New Orleans once. This was when I was just a tourist here, and I came down here and she was here. We were hanging out. We met for dinner or something, and she went to Franklin Avenue Baptist Church for a Black church here in New Orleans for some kind of, her church group was having a thing. So, and she goes, oh, I love it here. I love all the people here. And you notice how like everybody's so well spoken. I was like, Mom. And she's like, everybody has like a normal name. It's not like 50 different syllables. And I said, Mom, that's the most racist thing you've ever said. Don't ever repeat that. Don't ever repeat that. And I'm gonna tell you why. And she's like, oh, okay, whatever. And I brought that back up and she totally forgot about it. And this goes to the ancestry thing. And I said, Mom, now with all this talk of like, you get to look at your past and be like, oh, we're not actually Irish like I thought. We're actually English. And look at all my relatives here. I said, but Black people's family tree just hits a brick wall because they were stolen.
Mm.
And now do you understand why somebody would have a 30-syllable name trying to reclaim something, anything? And she goes, yeah. I said, that's why Ghana has the right of return now, because for a lot of people in the African diaspora, that's as good as you're going to get. You're not going to be able to go back any further. And, it's like, because your people were stolen and brought through that slave port. But it's like, that's why, that's why Black people have to like grasp onto anything, because everything has been taken from you. So any little bit you're just holding on to, if it's naming your kid Shaquille instead of Sean, that's what you got. That's all you got. I was like, Mom, that's why, you go to, I said, Mom, we go to our family reunion, we go to the Drailing Murphy family reunion, and it's nice. We have a little time or whatever. I said, go to Black family reunion. They got custom T-shirts. They go hard. They go hard. I said, because that's all they got. All they got is the people that they could bring out to this park on that day, and they don't know nothing else. And she says, yeah. She's like, I never thought about it like that. So it's just bringing stuff up to people in good faith. You might not even be the one to do it. Somebody might reject your good faith attempt, and then it'll be a seed that's planted in them for later. But I don't also, if somebody's trying to get one over on you, I just want to be very clear, like, pull out your phone and clown them, like, for sure. If somebody's trying to call the cops on you for having a barbecue, like, no, pull out your phone and make this person look stupid. But I'm just saying, if it's
doing their best, the point is not to embarrass them; it's to bring them along, right? To bring them along to where you want.
And I know that's a very like DSA thing of like, oh, we call people in, we don't call them out. You can do both. You just have to save your ammunition for the people that's actually worth it calling out, and then it'll be better for your mental health too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I had to say.
And plus you won't always be like on guard. I mean, like potentially, like if I've like kind of like settled into a position, and this is very easy for me to say, I guess, but like I'm very, very like serious about this from the perspective of, if you are like trying to genuinely change somebody's mind, if you're genuinely trying to get somebody to come along and do what you want to do, and be on your side, first they have to want to be a part of that. They need to want to do that, one. And two, just the sort of general orientation, you have to be, and like people get mad about this, but you have to be normal about it. You have to, and when I say normal, I don't mean like normal is like in an ableist or whatever way. Like, you don't mean you're excluding people with autism or whatever that. No. Like, people with autism are normal. Trans people are normal. Every single type of person is normal. But the thing is that you need to, what essentially I mean by that is, you need to engage with people in terms that they will not be defensive of, at least on the front end, so that you can at least get them, and not everybody can do this, but you need to get them to essentially listen to you so that they can be some kind of change in behavior and change in attitude and change in moving things going forward. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Yeah, you just have to pick your battles. We need more nuance. We need nuance. We're really bad at nuance as a political movement, as a society. We're really, and that's a lot of stuff we do. Like, people rail. I don't know why this just popped in my head. Just the weirdos that like rail at AOC, like she's supposed to sit in the house and just light a Molotov cocktail and throw it, and everything's gonna be better. Like, she's a politician. Like, we know we're getting into. We didn't elect a revolutionary. We elect a politician. Like, but there comes a point too. Again, if you're actively not doing what you're supposed to do, You need to get thrashed. Like,
right.
It's nuance. Learn it. The word of the day is nuance.
True simultaneously, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
So let's just pause for station ID real quick. You're listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. This is Good Morning Comrade, goodmorningcomrade.com. Jeff and Robert. You wanted to talk a little bit about something that happened because, you brought up somebody who was at the Olympics. Can you explain that to me?
You know, I'm the sports boy of the show here. As I check the NHL playoff scores because I want to see how my Lightning are doing. They're up 4-1 with 3 minutes left in the third. I think we got the first win. So now we just do 3.
That's game 1?
Yep, game 1. Game 1 of a game 4 of 4-game series because the Lightning are going to sweep and be back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. But no, so I'll just read this off the Guardian. So Gwen Berry turns away from flag at U.S. Olympic trials and says she was set up. Now, she's a hammer throw lady. She throws the ball with the chain on it. It's pretty cool, actually. I like it a lot. Here we go. Apparently, she's like a protesty lady, which is cool. We always stand that. But I'll read. I'm trying to read the important parts. Olympic hammer thrower Gwen Berry says she was set up after turning away from the flag during a medal ceremony at the U.S. Olympic trials on Saturday night. The 31-year-old has a long history of activism and raised her fist as the Star Spangled Banner ended when she won gold at the 2019 Pan American Games, something she said was a protest against injustice in the U.S. and the presidency of Donald Trump, as everyone should, because that anthem is garbage. Like
the U.S. national anthem.
Yeah, the national anthem. We leave the part about how we subjugate slaves out from that. Yeah, that thing needs to go yesterday. But here's the deal. She turned away from the flag when the anthem was playing, but she says she didn't know that the anthem was going to be played then. And I'll read this here. Barry believes it was no coincidence that she was front and center during the anthem. Unlike the Olympics, the anthem does not accompany medal ceremonies at the U.S. trials, but the hammer throwers received their awards just before the start of the evening session, which has been kicking off all week with a video rendition of the Star Spangled Banner played on the scoreboard. I feel like it was a setup. They did it on purpose, Barry said. The timing of the anthem, I was pissed, to be honest. And they said they were going to play it before we walked out. Then they played it when we were out there, Barry said. I don't really want to talk about the anthem because it's not important. The anthem doesn't speak for me. It never has. Now, here's the deal. I believe her 100%. And it's not because like I'm politically aligned with her. It's because if you're going to make a political statement, why would you do it at the Olympic trials when nobody's watching?
Right.
Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Like the IOC,
one of the most evil.
Oh, absolutely. They're right up in there
on planet Earth.
Yeah, the IOC's up there with like, I'm trying to think of like the worst sports organization. Like, if I had to rank them, I would say Olympic Committee number 1 because they ruin. They're like the Galactus of sports capitalism. They just consume.
World Cup is up there too.
Well, I was going to say, I was going to get to them next. They consume. They are the Galvatron of. Is that what from the Transformers movie? It was Galvatron. Yeah, they're the Galvatron of sports capitalism. They just consume and leave bare and destroy whatever city they land on every 4 years. They're going to do it to Tokyo, which I can't believe they're going through with these Olympics. Aaron and I were planning to go to that 4 years ago. Man, that seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. You're talking about the 2020 Olympics, which will be happening in 2021.
I'm talking about the Olympics that are happening like next month.
Yeah. They start on 23rd of July.
Yeah. I can't believe they're even doing this, but okay, whatever. I would say, so they're the worst. I would say next would be FIFA. Just they're so corrupt. It's just like if the mafia ran organized soccer throughout the world. After that, I would say, it's a hard one. It's like 3 and 4. I want to say UFC and then NFL, but
all right. The difference between UFC and NFL is that NFL players get paid,
and they have a union.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the UFC's worse because they pay nothing.
Mm.
They pay nothing. There's no organized labor, nothing. The NFL's awful, racist, terrible to leave you. You know, they don't want to take care of their players after they bash their brains in, but at least they have a union. So I'd say they're the fourth.
Mike Ditka, who is like an absolute chud, was a part of a lawsuit to get players like concussion, like
really. I didn't know
insurance after their careers. Mike Ditka.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Basketball is surprisingly good because I feel like the NBA is afraid of its employees, which is, I mean, it's not great. When I say good, I don't mean great. I feel like NBA players give their power away just like they did last season when they decided to walk out, and then they're just like, well, I guess we're done with that. Like, that was stupid. They should have advocated for real change. They could have gotten it too. But so back to Gwen here. She totally, why would you not wait for the Olympics to do some kind of a protest? And the IOC specifically bans demonstrations. And we were talking about this offline. I feel like it's hilarious that they do that because there's really nothing. I mean, let's be frank. Like, if you're just one of those people, it's like, I do archery at the Olympics and nobody knows who I am. Like, you're not going to do a protest because you could like be in the Olympics. You like want to do it. But if you're like one of those athletes, like, oh, I'm Michael Phelps and I'm like a once in a generation athlete who I could be at the Olympics 3-4 times and win multiple golds. Like, why? Like, I'm not going to do that either because I want to, rock this thing as hard as I can. But if you're one of those sports where you're like, you win gold and you know that you won gold, you won any medal, and you know you're not coming back in 4 years. Like, why would you not do a protest? Like, you would definitely do one because what's the IFC going to do to you? Let's say you win gold at the Olympics, and let's say Gwen Berry goes to, for hammer throw, she goes to Tokyo and wins the gold medal, and she does a protest on the podium or gets in front of a mic and has choice words for the American government. What's the IFC going to do? Strip her of her medal? Well, she's already like the strongest. She already threw the metal ball the furthest. You can't undo that. She's the best. I'm just saying, not necessarily her, anybody who's the best. What are they going to do? Asterisk you, strip you of your medal, and then give it to the second place person? You think that second place or third place or whatever athlete's going to take that medal?
Well, they know, right?
Yeah, they know, like, no, I didn't win this. Like, that person was the best. We have video and photographic evidence of them being the best. The medal is irrelevant. The medal is nothing. Who cares? So what's the IOC going to do? Like, there's nothing they can do. And we were talking about, that's why I think reactionary chuds get really, really upset at activist athletes because they are truly the uncancelable. I mean, they canceled Colin Kaepernick to a degree, but okay, as much
the league, the NFL canceled.
Here's what I'm talking about. Nuance. Here's nuance again. Colin Kaepernick was a good NFL quarterback.
Right.
He wasn't like a generational talent though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so he could be replaced with like another decent quarterback, which there aren't too many. I understand, like, quarterbacks after like the top 10 quarterbacks, they really drop off. If you've ever done a fantasy draft, you'll understand this. If you can't get the first 3 quarterbacks in your fantasy league, then just forget about it and just get a game manager. But whatever. That's not the point I want to get to.
That's not going to kill you.
But if you take a LeBron, you take a generational talent, you can't cancel this person. You can't be replaced. So they literally have carte blanche to say whatever they feel it is they need to say. And I think that's what really upsets, because they want this woman. I mean, they want this woman, Gwen Berry, canceled. They want her. Oh, what a surprise. The people who rail the most. Dang, the Lightning scored again at the end, 5-1. They're nasty. They're mad that they're mad that they went to Game 7 against the Islanders. They're still mad about it. But the thing is, all these right wingers who swear that they hate cancel culture want Gwen Berry canceled, and they might get it. They might get it. But if you're a generational talent, there's nothing they can do to you. Just do what you do, you know. Think how long
it works against their worldview of like they're the best. They should be the best, and they should have all the things that come along with being the best. And like they're trying to do the thing where they're like, actually, they're not the best because they're like morally weak or something like that because of their like.
They've set up the system to where they want to worship gladiators. But then they're not prepared when the gladiator turns out to be Spartacus. Mm-hmm. You know, the sports, I haven't bore everybody, but like, you know, he's not even political, but like Chad Johnson, you know, Bengals going back to Cincinnati, it all goes full circle. Mm-hmm. Bengals wide receiver, when he was on top of his game, he'd get away with anything. He was doing all kinds of stupid stuff. Just stupid, but like, what can you do? What are you going to do, bench the guy? Mm-hmm. There's not another Chad Johnson on the bench, or you be playing him. So they're uncancelable, and that's, you got to get in where you fit in.
If you're like a decent like receiver that can catch balls over the middle, like Keyshawn Johnson, but you're not elite, they can't do the same to you.
Keyshawn, when it was his, Chad was taken out the Keyshawn playbook. Keyshawn was wild.
He was one of the players that got, like, it's literally being called Keyshawn. They just put him on the IR. We don't want you on the team anymore. You remember?
That was when he was past his peak, though.
Okay.
When he was out there making Brad Johnson look like a Pro Bowl quarterback, nobody had anything to say. You know, when he was making Brad Johnson look amazing, they had nothing to say. But yeah, so I guess my in conclusion, all the gold medal Olympic athletes who listen to Good Morning Comrade on their way to Tokyo, I hope you don't, I hope you don't catch the Delta variant. 2, please be political. Don't let anybody get your gold medal, drop a deuce on it, do what Muhammad Ali did and throw it in the river. And say what you got to say, because then people can literally not say, "Oh, well, you did a thing, so you're not the fastest and the best anymore." Mm-hmm. It's irrelevant. Who cares? You'll actually be cooler. You'll be like Muhammad Ali without a medal. You'll be cooler. That would just make you cool. You'd be on like, what's a cooler cereal than Wheaties? You won't be on Wheaties. You'll be on like Muslin, like cool, like hipster, no medal. You'll be on Honey Bunches of Oats instead of Wheaties.
Wheaties are overrated. They don't even taste good.
They're nasty. It tastes like the box. I think they're made out of the same material.
Eat the box instead.
As the box. Like, you can get fiber from other cereals. I don't know why you would ever torture yourself. It's just like, yeah, it's like a way to torture. Yeah, it's just brand. It's just the grossest. There's our brand things that taste okay.
They put the brand in branding, didn't it?
It's nasty. I can't believe they got anybody to ever buy that. I want to Google that. Who eats Wheaties? Just to see what comes up. Who eats Wheaties? Like, nobody. If you eat Wheaties, please contact us at Comrade Morning on Twitter, and please let us understand why
we'll get you some help.
I need to know.
At least Raisin Bran has raisins in it, right?
Yeah, it does. I think you can get Wheaties with raisins.
Wheaties with raisins is just Raisin Bran.
I think you can, though. Yeah, the amount of sugar you have to dump on that too. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's not. Remember that old bit that Belushi had? It was just like powdered little. That's why I ate little powdered donuts, and it was just like Jim Belushi like running around a track, just being winded, smoking cigarettes.
No, I don't know.
Little powdered donuts. That's what we should name this episode. Little powdered donuts.
There you go.
No, I have to play it for you. It's really good. It's just Belushi just being winded.
Hey, Aaron.
Hi.
Go
ahead.
You are listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. This is Good Morning Comrade, goodmorningcomrade.com. Yeah. So what else is going on, man? You were went to the
Are millennials killing Wheaties?
Are millennials killing Wheaties? What is
No,
this actually a thing?
No. I saw an article from 2012 said, "Is Wheaties dying a slow death?"
I mean, like,
I bought one box because it had like Jordan on it or something. My mom bought it for me, and that box.
You were a Jordan guy?
Yeah, everybody was. You just had to be.
Yeah, who else was there? Like Karl Malone.
Yeah, I mean, you could be. Honestly, I wanted. I wanted the Knicks to win when they had that series.
Mm-hmm.
And that weird like layup where Patrick Ewing like it went in and out. That was sad because I like the Knicks because they were like, to reference I'm wearing a Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt. They were that 90s radical. Like Jordan was like the old hat. Like Jordan was like, oh, I wanted like the new upstarts when I was a kid. I really liked John Starks.
Okay.
Because it seemed like he was small and like wanted to fight everybody. I was all about that. But I definitely became a Bulls fan when they got Rodman.
Rodman?
Yeah, because I played
me as a Rodman guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was when I was playing basketball in middle school, I was a power forward. And like as a kid, just watching him made me understand like it was cool not to score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're a kid, if you're a kid playing basketball, like what do you want to do? You want to score. So it's like, pass me the ball, I'm going to score. It's like, no, you suck. Mm-hmm. And then a guy comes along that goes like, I'm strong and I'm fast and I can jump and I can just lean my body on you. And that's cool.
I'll get all these rebounds.
Yeah, I'm a big kid. I can get a rebound. Yeah, I had the Rodmans, those ugly. His shoes are so ugly. They were so ugly. I dyed my hair when I was little. Yeah, I had red. I had red on the top because I wanted to be like my boy. I thought he was so cool.
Remember when Rodman was on wrestling?
Yeah, of course.
That was like incredible too. Like just the idea that he would just like decide to go like hang out with like Hulk Hogan and like
smoke cigars.
Smoke cigars.
He was a perfect fit though. And you know what made me mad about that? Let me tell you what made me mad. Now I was an older kid then because I understood, like I was a wrestling fan kind of out of the womb and I understood how wrestling worked. It kind of made me mad that like when he would be booked with, it'd be like Hogan and him versus Triple H and Karl Malone. And now I was mad about that because I was like, oh, because I thought Rodman actually like hated Karl Malone. And I was like, oh man. Cause I was like, well, obviously if they're on they're working together.
Well, so here's one of the things though, and we're gonna talk about wrestling, I guess, for the rest of the show. Like when there's some real like spice between guys, and that happens, right? Guys with some spice between them will work together. Like you don't be saying that's all at work.
No, that's all at work. The Rodman who would kick a cameraman.
Yeah, that's true.
You talking about the Rodman who would like who got married to Carmen Electra and like wore a dress at his own wedding? You talking about that guy? You talking about that guy? Rodman who hung out with Kim Jong-un? You talking about that guy?
That's pretty wild. But the wedding dress thing. I mean, Ricky Williams did a wedding dress. They tried to like turn him into a Rodman when he was like completely and utterly like just a low key, like a pretty chill dude. Like we could like get into the Ricky Williams thing.
Obviously Ricky Williams walked. So
yeah.
So he walks. So
speaking about the NFL being bad, they put one on him like real bad. Like when he walked away, they like basically said, "No, you need to come play football. Otherwise, you're gonna owe all kinds of money to the Dolphins."
I say Ricky Williams walked so Marshawn Lynch could run.
Yeah,
like that was just that's Marshawn's daddy right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the same. It's the same mindset. But Marshawn Lynch is, I would say, Marshawn Lynch is this generation's Rodman. We don't have guys like that anymore who are just like, I do what I want to do, like whatever. But Marshawn Lynch is like the closest to that, like the coolest guy. like get ejected from the game and then just show up in the stands.
Like he's Raven.
Ride the he ride the BART train, the subway home, because he knew he had like so many friends with my hand quotes in Oakland that nobody was gonna mess with him. And he's right. He's like a guy who could just be on the street.
Yeah.
Because he grew up in Oaktown. Like, oh yeah. Like that guy was. And then you got, who did it the wrong way was like Pac-Man. I was like Pac-Man Jones. I had to tell you my Pac-Man story where we were at the club in Cincinnati and watched Pac-Man get beat up by the cops.
No. What happened?
That's wild, dude. He was tripping. He was.
Talk about how Pac-Man, what he did wrong, and then we get in the story. Pac-Man Jones.
He was acting a fool. He was drunk. We were at some bar. We were like, I was like 23. We got bottle service.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually like him and like a couple other cats were there. I don't even know who they were, but he was.
Who's in Cincinnati?
Yeah, in Cincinnati. He got bottle service next to us or whatever. It was like 2 people down in the low VIP area. But everybody's like, oh, it's Pac-Man, it's Pac-Man. I don't know what happened. All I know is he threw a whole bottle of Ciroc. No, it wasn't Ciroc. It was Moet at the bar.
Champagne.
So they call the cops. Cops show up. They're like, you got to go. He took a swing at a cop and they whooped his ass. Cincinnati cops whooped his ass.
Yeah.
We were like, God damn. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened. I'm sorry for cussing. Edit this.
Yeah, I got a lot of editing to do tonight.
My bad, my dude. But yeah. But yeah, that's the story of Pac-Man Jones in Cincinnati. Being drunk. And yeah, Cincinnati. It's not even once. No, I actually really like Cincinnati a lot. It was nice getting out of New Orleans and like seeing trees and hills, and there's a lot of things I miss, like trees and hills.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd like to. I'm gonna go up there for Christmas this year. I want to see if I, as an adult, who's gonna be like driving around in the winter, how it would feel.
But still do it.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do it all the time. Like, I was a good labor story. So, I worked for Citibank and I sold mortgages. I used to have like a 35-40 minute commute. It was in Kentucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to it was a call center. People would call up, be like, "Hey, can I get refied?" I'm like, "Let me look." No, you can't. And so anyway, it's coming down. The snow's coming down real nice. The state of Ohio, city of Cincinnati, and the city of Florence, that's where it's in Florence, Kentucky, have both said this is a snow emergency. We're shutting down the road, right? I'm like, hey, y'all, I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm clocking out. They're like, oh, no, you got to be on the phones. You got to stay on the phone. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, bruh, take that up with the mayor. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not getting stuck here. So I just clock out and go. Come to find out, so it comes out, it's like a mini blizzard or whatever. We're snowed in the next day. I don't even go to work like the next day. Tell me why, because these jokers were so afraid to leave, whatever, with a legit citywide, countywide emergency. Tell me why they were snowed in at the job. Tell me why they had to have people sleep at the job.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why they came in the next day funky, no shower, working. Unbelievable, bro. I mean, like it was like unbelievable. I like it was like a big, like, call center sweatshop. So it's like a lot of room in there, but like people had to like stay at work, and they didn't get paid for that time.
Yeah. Well, again, like you see similar things to that happen here. When it comes to like a storm evacuation sort of situation, like I've waited tables at like pretty at like restaurants that have been pretty busy, and like when hurricane times like roll around, and you start telling them like, hey, we're trying to get out of here, like this thing's coming straight for us or whatever, and they're just sort of like, hold on a second, let's just talk about this, let's try.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like when you know my wife and my family, and like I got to figure out what to do with all these cats, like how I got to figure this sort of situation out in case we end up like my house did for Katrina, right? Like I don't want to be in that situation, so I'm not coming in. And they give you so much crap.
I swear this. I always tell people all the time. I got all my leftism all my leftist praxis comes from the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is my 9/11 story. Let me tell you about 9. So same thing happened in 9/11. So morning of 9/11, it's September 11th, 2001 or whatever, right? 2001, and our staff sergeant, my staff sergeant, he sits us in a meeting. He's like, y'all going to start working on I'm not going to let y'all be trash Marines. He says, y'all are going to be going to corporal and sergeant's course. Y'all are going to be doing your, what was it, MCI, this like correspondence course. He's like, you're going to do every single training that's out there. He's like, I don't need you in this office. I need you to be a better Marine, blah, 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 blah. He's telling everybody in our shop this, whatever. So I'm on my computer and I get a ding on my computer. It's like a CNN news update. It's like, oh, plane hit the towers. And I'm like, what a weirdo. Like, I'm thinking it's like a Cessna or something. 5 minutes later, another one, ding. I was like, that's weird. Another plane hit the World Trade Center. I look up, everybody's in our lounge area, like watching CNN. So watching the towers go down, whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's Osama bin Laden. And they're like, Osama who? And I'm like, we're in the Marine Corps. We kill people for a living. Y'all don't know who these people are? Like, watch some PBS Frontline. The guy that tried to blow up the World Trade Center before. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, whatever. So the CO of the whole base, within like 20 minutes.
Have CEOs?
No, CO. Commanding officer.
Commanding officer. I was about to say, did you say that they have military CEOs? Get out of here.
So the whole base has us out there like 20 minutes after. It goes, look, y'all, this is wild. I talked to headquarters, Marine Corps. Like, obviously, if whatever pops off, you're here in Pensacola, y'all aren't going to deploy if we go to do something. Y'all already know that. So take that off the table. Get that out of your mind. He goes, secondly, nobody's going to get any work done today. He's like, just everybody go home. Just come to formation tomorrow. 0. He's like, if you've got physical training tomorrow, corporals and sergeants, cancel that. I want a formation here at 0700, and then I'll go over anything I've learned. It's okay. Staff sergeant goes, wait a minute. So after the formation, he's like, our staff sergeant's like, hey, come here. He's like, I want y'all to go by your desk and make sure your inboxes and you got anything you're working on, wrap that. Make sure you have, and literally by a man, everybody just said, bye. Just like, man, get out of here. Go take it up with this. Go tell the CO I was insubordinate. I'm leaving. Everybody's just like, no, we're not doing. We're leaving.
If the commanding officer told you that, but
yeah, we're going home. Like, no, we're not. I don't care about this paperwork right now because that's an admin guy. It's like nobody cares about this. But that's my 9/11 / like, no, like we're going home. Like kind of labor sticking together story.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's some solidarity. We got to get out of here, but thank you to everybody for listening. This has been Good Morning Comrade. You can get more information about our show, goodmorningcomrade.com. You can check me out streaming on twitch.tv/ Good Morning Comrade Radio every morning at 8 o'clock as well. And keep an eye out on that channel if you we welcome you to watch some more potential video game streams and things we have going forward.
I don't think I'm gonna like set a time for it. I think I'm just gonna I'm just gonna turn it on, and whoever shows up. It'll be on YouTube. Sure. But I want to stream that game.
Cool. Well, you are listening to WHIV LP New Orleans. Thank you. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Somebody thinks I look like Dave Grohl. Who's Whelms? Whelms, do I look like Dave Grohl?
Ooh, what? Oh, I always forget to hit the comments.
My wife's saying, like, say thank you from the back. I'm like, I don't know.
That's funny.
I know who Dave Grohl is. You gonna play tonight? You gonna play Revengeance tonight or not?
I don't know. I'd rather play it and have you watch. Like,
well, I can.
But you gotta edit. It's already like 10 o'clock, man.
Yeah. Well, if you want to put, wait. All right, we can figure that out then.
Yeah, I'll have more time tomorrow because I'm not going to the gym. I'm not. Like, my plans for tomorrow are just to pick up the house a little bit, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Play tomorrow.
Tomorrow's not my gym day.
During the day or whatever. Or wait, you're not working tomorrow?
No. I said tomorrow is not my gym day, so I'll be home.
Oh, so you are working.
I'll be home at like 5 instead of being home at like 7.
Damn, I was like, if you're not working, you should hop on.
No, I can't be taking all the time off.
Yeah. Well, all right, man.
All right,
we're gonna wrap it up. We have Twitch viewers. We have 1 Twitch viewer.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, we need to get more Twitch viewers.
Big shout out to all the Patreons.
Yeah, well, we can go through them in just a second.
Doing great.
You can support the show by going to patreon.com/Good Morning Comrade. I figured out. I talked to Janelle Jolly. She said if I do the nails on stream, I should do silver. What do you think?
Sounds great.
Well, once we get to our 25 subscribers, we can do that. Be like Ty Giddy, Michael H, Dan O, Jonathan H, Timothy C, Dragon Slayer 19. Andy L, Gary W, Rachel K, Kenneth F, Adam R, Trey M, Watermelon Pickle, and Penelope D. Go to patreon.com/Good Morning Comrade and subscribe. Smash the follow button if you're on Twitch. Smash the subscribe button if you're on Facebook. And smash that notification bell. All right, folks. Love you, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.